What if I told you the richest people in the world don't pay taxes the way you and I do, and it's completely legal? You might think that avoiding taxes is cheating, or that only shady loopholes are used, but that's far from the truth. Billionaires, CEOs, and ultra-wealthy families have mastered strategies that allow them to protect their money from the taxman, while still growing their fortunes every year. Think about it. People like Warren Buffett, Elon Musk, or Jeff Bezos make billions, yet they pay a fraction of what most high-income earners are taxed. Meanwhile, the average working person watches 20 to 30% of their salary disappear before they even touch it. How is that possible? How can someone earning millions pay less tax, legally, than someone making a few $100,000? The answer lies in understanding the difference between income and wealth. Most people believe that if you're rich, you automatically pay more taxes because your income is high. That's a common misconception. The reality is that the ultra-wealthy structure their money in ways that minimize taxable income, maximize investments, and take advantage of laws that most of us never learn about. Here's a surprising fact. Some billionaires don't take a salary at all. That's right. They don't earn a paycheck that the IRS can tax. Instead, their wealth sits in investments, stocks, real estate, and other assets. Those assets grow over time, compounding quietly, without triggering the same taxes a regular paycheck does. This is what makes the wealthy so powerful. They aren't just earning more, they are using legal strategies to protect their money while keeping it working for them. It might sound unfair, but these methods are entirely within the law, and understanding them can completely change the way you think about money, taxes, and wealth building. By the end of this video, you'll see exactly how the rich avoid taxes legally, the mindset behind their strategies, and lessons you can apply to your own finances. You'll realize that taxes aren't just a necessary burden, they can be a tool for building wealth. If you know how to use them, most people assume that the only way to handle taxes is to pay them from the income you earn. You get a paycheck, the government takes a portion, and you're left with what's left to spend or save. Many believe that no matter what you do, earning more automatically means paying more. That's the trap. Here's the reality. Paying taxes directly from your income is often the most expensive way to handle money. For most working-class and middle-class individuals, income comes in the form of wages or salaries, which are heavily taxed. Social Security, Medicare, state and federal income taxes, it all adds up. Even bonuses and investments can be taxed, sometimes at high rates. This leads to the feeling that no matter how hard you work, the government always gets more than you do. Meanwhile, the wealthy have a very different perspective. They don't just work for money, they make money work for them. And a critical part of this strategy is understanding how taxes actually function and how to legally reduce what they owe. Most people think tax avoidance is cheating, but the truth is that it's about using the rules to your advantage. Another common misunderstanding is the belief that only illegal schemes allow you to reduce taxes. In reality, the ultra-rich rely on strategies explicitly allowed by the tax code. They invest in assets that grow without immediate taxation, use loans and deductions in smart ways, and sometimes even leverage charitable giving to offset their liabilities. For example, owning stocks, real estate, or business interests creates opportunities that ordinary salaries simply do not. The problem is compounded by the fact that financial education is limited. Schools rarely teach about asset-based income tax optimization or wealth planning. Most people simply follow the paycheck-to-spend cycle, without realizing that there are legal ways to preserve wealth and minimize taxes. Without this knowledge, people remain trapped in a system where they work harder and earn more, yet pay more to the government than those who understand the rules. In short, the problem isn't the tax system itself. It's that the average person treats income and wealth the same way, while the rich treat them very differently. This misunderstanding is why most people never reach the level of financial freedom that the ultra-wealthy enjoy. They believe that higher income equals higher taxes, when the truth is that higher wealth, structured correctly, can mean lower taxes. Understanding this problem is the first. Step 2. Seeing why the rich seem untouchable by taxes. and why the strategies they use are both legal and powerful. So how exactly do the rich avoid paying high taxes legally? The answer lies in understanding the difference between income and wealth, and knowing how to structure money so it grows without triggering massive tax bills. First, most wealthy people don't rely on salaries or wages. Instead of earning taxable income like most of us, they hold assets such as stocks, real estate, businesses, or intellectual property. These assets increase in value over time, but as long as they don't sell them, they don't pay taxes on the gains. This is called unrealized appreciation. Imagine owning a property that doubles in value. Only pay taxes if you sell it. Meanwhile, your wealth has already grown. Next, the rich use something called stock-backed loans. Instead of selling shares and paying capital gains taxes, they borrow money against the value of their investments. This gives them access to cash for spending, investing, or buying luxury items without ever triggering a taxable event. It's a way of turning paper wealth into usable cash while keeping taxes minimal. Another common strategy is tax deductions and credits. The wealthy often invests in ventures that the government wants to encourage, like renewable energy projects or charitable contributions. These investments reduce taxable income. For example, donating shares to a charity can eliminate capital gains tax, while still allowing you to support causes you care about. Real estate is another powerful tool. Owning property provides deductions like mortgage interest, property taxes, and depreciation, which can offset other income. Many wealthy investors structure real estate holdings through limited liability companies (LLCs) or trusts, which can further reduce taxes and protect assets. Finally, the rich often take advantage of long-term investment tax rates. Capital gains tax for long-term holdings is lower than ordinary income tax. By holding investments for years, even decades, they pay a fraction of what they would if they earned the same money through a salary. All of these methods are completely legal. They rely on leveraging the tax code in ways most people never learn about. It's not about cheating, it's about strategy, planning, and patience. The wealthy focus on building assets that grow and compound, while using the rules to minimize taxes at every step. The takeaway here is simple. Taxes are not a burden, they're a tool. By understanding how different types of income are taxed, and by using the right legal structures, it's possible to keep more of your money working for you. The strategies might seem complex at first, but at their core, they are just about thinking differently about money and wealth. Let's look at a concrete example of how the ultra-wealthy legally avoid taxes. Elon Musk. Musk is famously one of the richest people in the world, yet he has reportedly paid very little in income taxes compared to his wealth. How is that possible? The key lies in how he structures his compensation. Musk doesn't take a traditional salary. Instead, his wealth is tied to stock options and company shares. These options give him the right to buy Tesla shares at a fixed price, which can then increase in value over time. The IRS only taxes realized income, meaning the moment Musk sells shares or earns a traditional salary, he triggers taxes. But as long as he holds his stock and uses legal strategies like borrowing against it, he can access billions of dollars without triggering a taxable event. Borrowing against assets is another tool Musk and other billionaires use. Instead of selling shares to buy a house, fund a new business, or make other investments, they take out loans using their stocks as collateral. Interest rates on these loans are often much lower than the taxes they would pay if they sold assets, making it a more efficient way to access cash. Essentially, they are leveraging their wealth rather than liquidating it. Another example is Warren Buffett. Despite being one of the richest men in the world, Buffett famously pointed out that he pays a lower tax rate than his secretary. How much of Buffett's wealth comes from investments that appreciate over time rather than a traditional salary? He also donates billions to charity through the Buffett Foundation, which provides massive tax deductions while supporting causes he cares about. This is an example of how philanthropy can align with smart tax strategies. Even Jeff Bezos has used similar methods. A large portion of his wealth is in Amazon stock. and he has leveraged stock-backed loans to fund personal projects without selling shares. Like Musk, he minimizes taxable income while keeping assets invested and growing. These examples show a consistent pattern. The ultra-wealthy focus on wealth creation, not income, and use legal methods to access cash without triggering heavy taxes. They combine patience, smart asset allocation, and knowledge of the tax code to maximize their financial power. The takeaway here is clear. It's not magic or cheating. These strategies are fully legal, and they demonstrate the difference between earning money as income versus growing money as wealth. By learning these principles, anyone can start to see taxes not as a burden, but as a tool to plan, preserve, and grow wealth over time. The biggest lesson from how the rich legally avoid taxes is that wealth and income are not the same thing. Most people think the only way to build money is by earning a higher salary and paying taxes on it. The ultra-wealthy think differently. They focus on growing assets, not just collecting income. This mindset is what allows them to legally minimize taxes while expanding their wealth exponentially. One key takeaway is the power of asset-based thinking. The rich prioritize investments that grow in value over time, such as stocks, real estate, businesses, or intellectual property. These assets increase their net worth quietly, often without triggering immediate taxes. By holding and strategically managing these assets, they can create long-term financial security and freedom that a salary alone rarely provides. Another important lesson is the use of leverage through borrowing. Instead of selling investments and paying hefty taxes, they borrow against their assets. This allows them to access cash when needed, while keeping their wealth invested and compounding. For most people, this seems counterintuitive after all. Borrowing usually comes with risks, but for those with significant assets and careful planning, it becomes a powerful tool for liquidity and growth. The third lesson is understanding the value of tax strategy and planning. The wealthy don't avoid taxes illegally, they use deductions, credits, charitable giving, and long-term investment strategies to legally reduce taxable income. This shows that taxes are not a punishment. They are a tool. By learning how the tax code works and aligning financial decisions with it, anyone can start to preserve more of their wealth. Finally, the mindset itself is crucial. The ultra-wealthy think in terms of long-term growth, leverage, and planning. They don't chase short-term income or instant gratification. Instead, they structure their finances in a way that maximizes compounding, minimizes taxes, and protects their wealth for generations. It's not about luck, it's about discipline, education, and strategy. For viewers, the lesson is clear. If you want to grow wealth and reduce taxes legally, focus on building assets, using smart leverage, and understanding the rules. This isn't something only billionaires can do. With the right knowledge and planning, anyone can start implementing these principles, even on a smaller scale, to protect income, reduce tax burdens, and grow financial security over time. The rich teach us that taxes don't have to be a burden, they can be a tool for building wealth, if you know how to use them wisely. Understanding this mindset is the first step toward thinking like the wealthy and taking control of your financial future. If you want to truly understand how money works and how the wealthy legally reduce taxes while growing their wealth, it's time to take action. Most people go through life following the paycheck-to-paycheck cycle, never learning the strategies that the ultra-rich use every day. But you don't have to stay in that cycle. Start by thinking differently about income and assets. Ask yourself, am I working for money, or is my money working for me? This small shift in perspective can open doors to smarter financial decisions, better investment choices, and, ultimately, more freedom. Learning how taxes, loans, and assets interact is one of the most powerful tools you can have on your path to wealth. If you want to learn more about these strategies and see how they are applied in real life, subscribe to The Geeky Investor. On this channel, we break down the techniques, habits, and mindsets of successful investors, entrepreneurs, and billionaires in a simple and practical way. You'll get insights that schools won't teach, and tools that can help you start growing your wealth strategically today.